Do you remember the incident this weekend where Donald Trump was spraying the water bottle to make a reference to the sweater, little Marco, as he called him, referring to Marco Rubio? I don't know if that was the defining moment for Hobby Lobby founder David Green, but it was over the weekend that the man behind the Supreme Court fight that he won to protest ordered contraceptives and that sort of thing for his workers that drew the line. That is when he said, enough is enough, Donald Trump, you are not for me, Marco Rubio is, telling me exclusively on Fox Business just a couple hours ago exactly why.
The last thing we need in this country now is an individual that leads us by a scorched earth attitude and no matter what it takes to get ahead. I cannot, for the lack of me, understand why the faith world would come alongside someone that completely is different than what we would like our children to be and what they will be. If we elect someone that wins at no matter what the cost, regardless to decency, and that's the last thing we need in this country today.
All right, but I know you're a deeply religious man yourself. You've argued all the way to the Supreme Court for those views and strong, deeply felt views. But Jesus also argued for turning the other cheek. Marco Rubio is not doing that. He is also talking about his opponent's fake tan. He's also talking about his little hands. You've heard all of that. Is that appropriate? Do you think you've put your money on the wrong guy now?
No, I don't, because I think it exactly proves my point. I don't think this is who Marco Rubio is. He didn't start this way, but it's exactly what all of us can do at some point when we see a leader.
But he's still doing it. You know, he's still doing it, David. And to your point, we're fighting fire with fire, and it might help him in the polls. It might not. It's hard to say. What do you think?
I think he's a decent person, and before this race, he has been proven as a decent person, and I think that it's coming back in a way that it's not him. It is not who Marco Rubio is.
So you think it's a mistake? You think it's a mistake what he's doing?
I think it's a mistake, and also proves my point. We will all be doing this because a leader, why do we follow a leader? Because he leads and he's head. He's head of a company. He's head of the country. We don't want a head of the country that leads us in a way that to act in a way that we shouldn't act. Whether we're a Christian or not, whether we're a person of faith or not, we don't want our children to emulate a person that would win the way he's winning. Calling people names, everybody's stupid. That is not who we want our country to be, and that's who we're following.
I'm sorry, sir. If he were the nominee, would you support him over, let's say, Hillary Clinton?
Under no circumstance could I vote for someone that I feel like can do much, much damage to this country, to the extent of maybe even students following him and talking about people's anatomy in which God created them, and he is really criticizing God when he creates someone's anatomy. And I cannot, under any circumstance, when I know that that could cause other people to do it because he's the leader, why not follow the leader? And I could see as much as suicide happening just because of the way that he does.
Just to be clear then, David, it's Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. You would vote for Hillary Clinton?
I don't believe I could vote.
Oh, wow.
I would have to stand aside. I'm afraid I would have to.
We hear many on the religious right feel this way. Not to typecast you, sir. But there are others who are also considered, you know, deeply evangelical, for want of a better term. Senator Sessions, for example, who has recently decided to back Donald Trump because he says evangelical voters as well, to paraphrase, want to get things done. Even if the process and the language and the tone can be a little in your face, a little crude, it's about getting things done, making this country move again. What do you think of that?
I think to do things under any circumstance, to get things done, is not a godly thing to do. And I think you're going to just wreck this company and put us deeper in debt, in terms of who we are, the society that we're in, our culture. Our culture is going downhill. This will only take us further. I apologize, and I don't have to apologize, and I shouldn't, but I pray for those religious leaders that are blinded to the fact of an individual that they're supporting that is totally without decency in terms of the way that he gets ahead in life. It is not the way we would want our children. We need to ask ourselves, is this the way our children want to get ahead, and how we want other businessmen get ahead is the way that Donald Trump gets ahead by no matter what it takes. He's going to get ahead. I don't want things done. I don't want a loose cannon to take care of the problems we have. We're all angry at where we've been. But to do something because we think someone's made $1 billion, we've made billions of dollars. But that doesn't make us have the ability to run this country.
Well, that's an interesting. You have been. You're worth $5 or $6 billion. I hear that's conservative. I don't know, sir. But you have a lot of money.
That is conservative, but that doesn't make any difference what number it is. That should not have anything to do with who runs this country.
Okay, fair enough. But would you apply that same standard to any businessman or woman who wants to run? Like Mike Bloomberg's name comes up, for example.
I have to look for character and the freedoms that we do or don't have in the future.
So the argument that Donald Trump has made, I'm sure that Michael Bloomberg would make if he has a third-party run, is that when you're that rich, no one can buy you, no one can buy influence with you, and there's that advantage. What do you make of that argument?
Well, hopefully none of us that is going to run for office cannot be bought. Hopefully we have people that have of integrity that is going to make the decisions that are right.
But we've learned the hard way, right? We've learned the hard way, David. In some cases, hopefully to your point, rare cases, people can be bought. They can be influenced. They can be, whether you're the education lobby. I mean, Hillary Clinton will be very loyal to that lobby. Some say the same about the oil lobby. Will be a Republican candidate would be very loyal to that lobby. I guess what I'm saying is there a danger to that, period?
I don't think there's ever a danger for us to follow God's word, and that's what we should do. And until such time that we do, we will not see our country turn around.
Finally, sir, and I know you're pressed for time. We do appreciate you taking the time. You know, the president wants to name a replacement for Justice Antonin Scalia, and he plans to go about doing so, but Republicans want to wait until after the election, in other words, deny this president, even with 11 months or so left in office, that right. What do you think of that? Is that a good move, bad move, risky move? What?
The president should do what he should do, and that is he should appoint someone. The Congress should then do what they should do and either decide or not decide whether that person should come into become our Supreme Court justice.
Is that David Green's way of saying hold confirmation hearings? You're free to reject that nominee?
I think they should both do what they have been elected to do, and they should listen to whoever it is. But then they also should make sure that we have a justice that would follow our Constitution.
David, finally,
and keep us with our freedoms.
I apologize. I keep apologizing, don't I? David, finally, if Donald Trump becomes president, if he wins the nomination, goes on to become president, he has narrowed what was a 30-point gap with Hillary Clinton to, in some polls, as little as a few points. What is it you fear so much? What do you think will happen?
I fear that we are going to have a country that follows his lead. It happens. I've been in business for many, many years, and I always see people following the leader. And I'm fearful that they will follow his lead of how he gets ahead and how he gets things done. He gets things done. It is totally, totally un-Christ-like.
All right, now, keep in mind, that is his opinion. David Green of Hobby Lobby. We have reached out to Donald Trump and his folks to get a reaction, an answer to this. Hope springs eternal that we will. But remember, that's what we do here. A candidate comes on, criticize another candidate. We always reach out to that candidate and get a view from them.